Okay, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened. My Streamlabs just simply crashed. It just boom. It just absolutely it froze. It froze, and it took me ages to get it. And I was like, "What the hell is going on?" It just froze. Everything froze, and it took me. It just went away. It just the image for me froze, and the only thing that kept going was the recording. All I could see that the recording was still running, nothing else, and it said, this whole shit piece of shit just said uh, everything. There was the the preview. The preview was frozen. Everything seemed as if everything was just absolutely fine until I tried to click anything here. Until I tried to click anything there, on this Streamlabs, and when I closed it from the X on the top right corner, just went away, and then it wouldn't. And there were some background processes that were hung up, and I had to manually shut down a number of things. However, I do have some idea as to what happened. I, I I have a guess. I have an educated guess as to what happens, but that's not the point here, is it? Okay. Okay, let's go. The Australian study we were going through before everything froze. So a numerous well in this research, what the research what the research is beginning to show, however, is the importance of such stigmatization. Okay, so here, 2 decades of research in Northern Europe, namely UK, the Netherlands, Germany, and Scandinavia, I think, what we have here, okay, suggests that health and well-being of the children with same-sex attracted parents is no different compared to other family backgrounds, especially social and emotional developments and educational outcomes. And female those who have a female index parent in a lesbian or a female couple, their level of education tends to be higher, and there is a correlation between the high the education level of the female parent to the child's welfare. The more educated the mother, or the more educated the mother or the stepmother or the mother's female partner is, the better the child performs in life. It comes up in at least the Australian study. Okay, so here we have Stacey and Biblart in one argue that, however, more detailed consideration um, um, identifies a number of areas that do not necessarily follow the commonly acknowledged no difference consensus. This includes focus on sexual orientation, although it's not generally accepted that the child's sexual orientation is not a measure of quality parenting, and that is exactly the point. Because if your child turns out to be uh, gay or trans, it doesn't make you a bad. It doesn't make you an inherently bad parent. It just means your child happens to have this pre- predisposition of being gay or trans or anything else. And just because I'm trans and queer, that doesn't make my mom a bad mom. Just because I'm trans and queer, that doesn't. I mean, all parents have their own faults. Peter's parents have probably their own shortcomings. Malapete's, their parents probably do have their shortcomings. But if any one of you was happened to be gay, LGBTQ, it's not your parents' fault. That's you just that's something that just happens naturally. In fact, the a number of authors agree that simply asking a question um, reinforces the heterosexist view, which I do agree that same-sex families just somehow have to prove themselves. They have to prove themselves worthy in order to be recognized as perhaps real families. Who knows? Um, what research? Okay, and then we have the we get to the homophobia. Okay, let's I'll get you the actual. Okay, there. And the research, the numerous studies have found that there is perceived stigma, experienced rejection, or homophobic bullying. Children with the same sex attracted parents are more likely to display problems in their psychosocial development. Well, and these experiences dif- differ globally, with and the US kids experiencing it more, and it's associated with higher problem behavior, whereas the when compared to, for example, the Netherlands. So what what exactly do we get from this? Um, I will probably go on a bit more, um, but I think we'll go because there are a few things that I like to. Yes, there's there's a few things. There is everything. Oh, this Australian study, the American study from '05, a few older ones that I skimmed through, um, and then there was a few newer ones, I think, that were available. But I think this was because this Australian study was so big, or relatively big. Uh, I decided to pick that one out, and then from the Australian, sorry, the American review, um, of same sex couples parenting, to get a bit a different view. Uh, so yeah, Peter says go Aussie. Yeah, that's because the Australian study was so thorough. It's quite. It's not that. I think it's 12 pages plus sources included, but it's quite still quite, I think, quite thorough thorough enough. And as stated previously, as stated previously, um, it was the biggest in the world so far. At, up until that point, that it was the biggest study. And I think there hasn't been many. I think that there has been a bigger one, but that was something that I couldn't just get my hands on easily. And many of these studies are behind a bit paywall. So there was one study that would have wanted me to pay them like 40 euros, so like 40 something US dollars, um, to get my hands on the study, and I don't honestly I do not have. I just couldn't financially justify paying 40 euros to see a study. So okay, so the kids with same-sex parents, same have do just as well uh, as their counterparts from opposite sex parents. However, I should mention that there is obviously, as the study that are said, that there is the stigma and the homophobia and the bullying, which then causes troubling behavior or challenging behavior. But as the text the study text of the study highly suggested, uh, that there's a correlation, depending on to the extent depending on where you live. They gave an example of the US, and they gave the US and the Netherlands. We all know that it's absolutely horrible in the US for LGBTQ plus people. Even in 2022, it's horrible. And people are these horrible politicians want all the rights taken away from these families, these loving families, where children, um, children are loved just as much, and quite often more wanted and loved than in many straight families with troubled backgrounds, etc. Versus the Netherlands, where it's very open-minded society. Of course, there are problems with LGBTQ phobia and idiots, far right assholes in the politics, but yet it's far less than in the US. And this this correlates to better psychosocial welfare of these um, young young humans who live with their parents. So when it comes to their psychosocial the threats to their psychosocial welfare, it comes from the outside. It comes from their peers. The threat to their welfare, because the threat to their welfare resulting from their family background. It stems from external factors. It has nothing to do with the family. It has nothing to do. It, their parents aren't doing that to their children. It's a society that harms. That is more. That is the one doing harm to these children. Not the same as parents. It's the society and the homophobes that harm these children. That the people who claim the ignorant idiots who claim that the same-sex parents harm the kids is actually and that they are trying to protect the kids. It's actually the other way around. The people trying to the vile homophobes saying they're trying to protect the kids are actually doing the harm to the kids, not the parents. It's quite interesting. Peter says, brought up in an all-female family after my dad died when I was 4. My condolences. But hey, look how you turned out to be a decent human being. So, raised by females, a guy can and usually will grow up to be a decent human being, like our Peter here. Also, Pete's saying kids in same-sex relationships seem to be wanting more. One tries one's best, exactly. Okay, so and there's also a study that they've had this table here showing the method of conception and full time with index parents, uh, the vast majority, and 82% of the 500. Okay, that's where did I? Uh, if you'll excuse me, I lost my what I was about to talk about. Okay. Okay. So here's the about the perceived stigma. Okay. So parents were asked to indicate the of the 500 kids how often in the past the family had experienced stigma related to same-sex attraction. So each okay, a higher score represents the more um, frequent experiences of stigma and internal consistency of the adaptive scale. So yeah, so they've studied it, and there has been a clearly it comes out it's in uh, findings towards the end. Okay, and then we have the conclusions here. Okay, they are doing well, just just as well as any other kid would. Okay, uh, as in particular. Okay, perceived stigma is experienced by children with same-sex attractive parents. Um, in particular, is of importance to healthcare services. The perceived stigma already has a negative impact on mental and emotional well-being, and there have been, of course, there are some negative experiences in healthcare when same-sex, like the two moms take their child to see the nurse or the uh, postnatal checkups. So it comes from the threat, the well-being of these children come from the outside, not from the parents. So, um, what do we get from all this? These, after being presented with the facts, these idiotic homophobes, conservatives, creationist assholes will just chicken out. And I challenge anyone who thinks same-sex parents harm their children, or or that living in same-sex attracted with that children uh, who live in a same-sex attracted with same-sex attracted parents are being harmed by their parents. I challenge them to a debate. you may spread the word. And however, the kind of people that I really wouldn't want to debate, but will if necessary, are those who just say, but the Bible says mother and father, you know? I prefer not, but if someone of that sort wishes to debate me on this matter, yes, okay, sure. Bring it on, bitch. Um, Peter says homophobes are assholes. And Bowie says, oh, hello, Bowie. Says true pricks with bricks for brains. Yeah, sure. Um, okay, so. And please also let's go back to why is that slow? Okay, please go like my like this video part two. Oh yes, that's the part two. It shows it. Oh, where the fuck? Okay. Anyway, that's the part two there. Please go and like my video, thumbs up, and go check my beer channel. I haven't uploaded. It's been 2 weeks or so now that I uploaded my last video, but there's there may be coming maybe a video coming uh, this week, but I cannot promise anything. Okay, and there's also a my Patreon page here. Patreon page. Oh, this is we missed you. Oh, thank you very much. So up to 30 euros a month possibility there. Okay, and I have um, one patron there, Flems, and Flems has provided me with some interesting information from Norway. Recent developments in a court in an interesting court case that I've covered on my channel in the past. Mm. I think early. Yeah. Bowie says, sorry, the last video ending so suddenly threw me into a loop. Okay. So, okay. Yes. So, this has been an interesting evening to say the least. Well, it's of course it's yeah, early morning for the Pacific region, like the Aussie land, Kiwis, and so forth, and not that and a bit earlier in the evening for the US, in the West Coast in particular, I guess. So earlier this year, I covered this defamation case from Norway, where this middle-aged man um, got fined, had to pay a court fee and a no some basic fixed amount for the court, and then the court costs for the trans woman and himself, etc. So, and he appealed. Not really surprising, but anyhow, and there has been a very final development in this case. In recent times, quite recently, and I've been a lazy ass bitch, and I haven't had I haven't even had the time really to translate documents from Norwegian to English. So once I get the documents translated to English, I will cover it on my channel. Okay. So I think it's time for me, Stefan, and Bertil to say goodbye to you everyone. Please like, subscribe, and tickle the notification bell, and leave me a comment in the comment section down below. You know where to find it. And I will see you next time.